Maybe. Okay. Hi, good evening, folks. Welcome to Kirk's Law Corner Live, Wednesday Night Live. Apologize for the delay. Had some more pre-show discussion stuff going on, and time really slipped away. I
Right.
thought it was going to be a couple minutes, but anyways, we're
There you
here,
go thinking again.
fashionably late. And
Right.
thanks for the shirt. I can't remember the gal's name that sent this, but I know I've worn this before on here. But Make America Constitutional Again. Thank you for the sweatshirt.
Love that. Love that.
Love it. So, how we all doing tonight? And I'm sure people are just dying to hear on a field update, but we'll give it a couple minutes here. And
Well, that seems to be the nature of things.
right,
You
well,
know.
field's free and he's on his way home.
Right.
I know.
Bump, 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 bump. Oh,
I know it's so funny how many people out there believe bullshit, lies,
Yeah.
fake news,
It's one of the reasons
trolls.
I don't get involved in that shit. And probably fundamentally, principally speaking, one of the reasons why I keep getting chosen to do the work that I do. Because I just don't even bother with shit made up.
Yeah. Well, people are going to have to, you know, take into consideration the depth of corruption that we're dealing with, not just in Field's case, but in general. And like Attorney General Barr has said, this stuff's going to take some time. And
No.
I mean, look what the Bundys went through.
Oof.
Almost 2 years in prison. Prison, not a county jail,
Right.
actual federal prison. You know, it's, corruption to the core. So
And
the
how many
ultimate
people
question
are
is what are we going to do about it? Because, like Trump said in his inauguration speech, and he keeps saying it, putting the power back into the people's hands. What power is he talking about? The right to alter, reform, or abolish anything at any time we deem it necessary.
Mhm.
All political power is inherent in the people. All of it.
Right?
Not just some of it, not just most of it, all of it.
Well, and again, let's clarify that for some
Because we
people.
are a republic
You mean like that?
and we are self-governed.
It's a pretty good short version definition, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Who's not a monarch?
Right? I was waiting for you to catch that.
Yeah. A government in which supreme power is held by citizens entitled to vote. Um, that's I take issue with the word vote. That's that word salad. We have the right to elect our representatives.
Right. Well, it says vote and exercised by elected officers and representatives governing according to law. Also, a nation or other political unit having such a form of government. So, again, if they're not Republican in character or form, they've got no standing.
Yep.
Um, we just did that. See, gaggle of clusterfuck versus Trump.
Right.
What else do you call it, dude? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh God, I just all you can do is sit here and laugh at them because
Yeah.
they're to watch them literally implode in on themselves. It's actually kind of sad. You know,
Well, this is the thing we have to look at throughout history, right? How long has it taken us to get to this particular point we're at again in history with law and our government?
that's why I said
It's not going to happen overnight, folks. The in today's day and age, a lot of people are wanting instant gratification. And, in today's day and age, we have fancy little things like this that are more powerful than, an 8088 or an 8086 computer that we first started out with.
Right.
Okay. Pretty much at the tip of a finger, you can have just about, you can order whatever you want. You can watch just about damn near any video you want to watch. You can create all sorts of things with this little device right here,
All
this
except
little
due
phone.
process.
You can actually make phone calls with this phone. You can take
Right.
pictures and
You
make
can make
videos.
phone calls with
You
it.
can actually make phone calls with
No
this thing.
shit.
Okay. So, I actually love this part here in the back. I got that from Tony Pellegrino gave me that a while back. I've had it on here. I've actually had this phone for almost 4 years. But we're so accustomed to instant gratification that nobody realizes what it takes to go through the process that is due process of law. We're subjected to tyranny, a tyrannical form of government where they just come in and arrest somebody, take you to jail, throw you through a trial, or force you into a plea bargain and throw you in prison. And everybody seems to think that that's due process of law.
Nope. Only in an Islamic state, corporate state, all
Mm,
caps, bullshit, that archaic spelling of advantage. Remember, showed that in the Webster's dictionary definition of the word emolument. Explained it as emolumentum, archaic advantage,
right.
in all
So
caps.
here's an ongoing question. The same thing. Well, why can't Trump get him out of jail? Because Trump is the president of the United States. He's the head of the executive branch. Okay. This doesn't have anything to do with Trump. That's not within the scope and authority of the president. You
Can
need to
issue a
comprehend
pardon.
how a form of government works and the limitations of public servants in their emoluments.
Right.
You
So
can't just walk in and just get him out of jail. I mean, they sure in the hell didn't do it for the Bundys. Don't think that it's just automatically going to happen for Field McConnell.
didn't happen for Kirk, didn't happen for me,
Nope.
didn't happen for Nate, hasn't happened for Nate. Does the
I
should
mean,
I should
why
the
did
list
why
is
didn't Trump
going?
just shut down the whole impeachment process? Why didn't Trump shut down the Russian collusion in the beginning? Why didn't Trump do this? Why? Because he doesn't have that power.
Yeah, you do, right? Not you
Okay.
specifically, Kirk. I mean,
Tell someone who
everybody
can help.
watching, huh?
You. You want help? You want to help Field? You do something about it.
Yeah, we
What are you
said
going to do? Follow due process of law. You can do what we've already done, like clear back in November 13th. We filed to
ish,
demand an investigation into Field's case back in
right?
November. We keep trying to tell you, folks, we already followed due process of law. We've
Already
already
in,
filed in the legislature. We
which
redress our grievances in the legislature. We don't fight in the judicial. We go to the legislature with our grievances.
that's right. So,
And
going
I take it
across,
that you're probably new to us and don't quite comprehend what we've been teaching for 3 years now, right
well, and
here.
that's
For
yeah,
3 years, we've been teaching this same process.
right. So, you
And
know,
what you're seeing right now, you're seeing Field being subjected to the tyranny, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people have been subjected to it for over 200 years.
right?
And now all of a sudden you think something should be done about it. Welcome to the club.
Yeah,
I've been thinking something should be done about this for a good solid 5 years.
30 years for me. I've been fucking with them.
But
So,
I can tell you right now, a good 25 years that I've been studying law and the history
mhm,
of law because of what happened to me. Uh, this alleged felony, which ain't a felony. It's a bill of attainder to begin with.
right,
Um, I vowed to myself I would never get screwed again like that. And I'll tell you what, I haven't.
right.
I've never been screwed like that again. It ain't
Well,
happening. And that won't ever happen again to me.
So
I can guarantee you that. And
let's
just to
let's.
make it clear, I beat my last driving without privileges.
Mhm.
Okay. So for one of those trolls out there that offered $500 for any case that I've ever won, you might want to start coughing up some money. I'm going to make you broke real quick.
Right. So okay, before I play this next clip, I'm going to read through something right here, right? Because you've heard me say this once, twice, 3 or 4 times ish, right? My liberty interests, right? Right. We have the right to life, liberty, and happiness, right? So, my liberty interests have been infringed by case steering tactics, which include the selective admission of and selective exclusion of relevant evidence and testimony in which the context of the proceeding is altered to prejudice the court against me and pays no respect to validity or consequence. Now that I've shared that, that's been published since, well, definitively. Um, it first went in, I think it was part of the judicial report, but it could have also been my amicus petition. I'd have to go back and double check. But point is it was 2017 first published into Congress. This is 2020, right? So now, been working with this project for 3 years now. Now, know what's coming about with HR 202. So again, part of the remedy, right? The relief is I'm walking in with an offer of remedy. Said, you've got a problem. We've got a problem, right? We've been had here. So we have to work together to do it. I volunteered. So, right? Listen to this.
Get this right, sir. Well, we got to remember what prompted this whole debate. Remember, it was the Justice Department in 2016 and went to the FISA court and misled the court. That's a nice way of saying they lied to the court 17 times. So we need to change how this works. I think you need someone at the court actually representing the American citizen who's about to lose some of their rights, some advocate for them. So that's one of the things we're going to try to push and get done in this legislation.
Okay, but I'm. So we need an advocate for somebody, right, who doesn't have standing in that particular court. Does that mean the American people are defenseless? Their liberty interests are being infringed? Moving on.
Notice you said advocate, not a member of the bar.
Exactly. That's right. So,
Because
again,
they're getting away from the bar.
there you go. Right?
They know.
So
that man right there knows the bar's going down.
Ironically, look what state he's from.
Ohio.
Who was party in my case? Ohio. High in the middle and round on both ends. So
I'm reading here the administration supports keeping the part of the law that allows this agency to collect data on U.S. citizens. You got a problem with that?
I do have a problem if it's not properly predicated, if you don't have the safeguards in place to make sure our fundamental liberties are protected. And we know that didn't happen in the Carter Page example. We know that didn't happen in that case. Remember, 17 times they misled the court. I always go back to what the Attorney General said, Bill, about 8.
Wait a minute. Selective inclusion of and selective exclusion of relevant evidence and testimony, which altered the context of the case, right? Okay, just making sure we're clear on this.
8 months ago when he testified in front of Congress, and he was talking about the whole Trump-Russia investigation. He said 4 very important things. He said there was a failure of leadership at the upper echelon of the FBI. Certainly true. Comey, McCabe, Baker, Strzok, Page, we know about that. He said spying took place, used a word that drove the left crazy. He said there's a basis for my concern about the spying that happened. And maybe most importantly, he used the term political surveillance, a term that should never happen when we're talking about the United States of America. So that's what's prompting all this and why we need to make the changes, why we need a citizen advocate there to defend the interest of the citizen.
Let me try and figure out what the right changes are here. Now,
he needs an advocate to defend the interests those liberty interests of the citizen.
Yeah.
Is that not damn near verbatim what I just read?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, again, we redress our grievances through the legislature. Moving on.
There's one proposal to notify any Americans if they have been surveilled. I assume you would support that?
Yeah, we're looking at lots of things. We're actually trying to put together a piece of legislation that we think is much better than the one Mr. Nadler has brought forward, one that's consistent with the principles that are, part of our Constitution, part of our Bill of Rights. But as I said, the most important aspect, I think, is this amicus process, where you have someone there representing the individual who's about to lose their fundamental liberties. I also think it's important that we develop a record of what takes place in these courts. There should be a transcript of these proceedings. I think that's critically important. And
you mean transparency in the court? Trust me, they're hearing every word we're saying, right? We had to bring it before that body properly so they could act accordingly, right? It is what it is.
And I think when you're talking about a candidate, you're talking about a campaign, you're talking about an election, and you're talking about a person running for office who's an office holder or a staff person for some of those campaigns or members of office, that there's a sign off before that kind of procedure moves forward, a sign off from the highest levels of the Justice Department before any type of that type of surveillance can take place.
Okay, two more.
So again, what's he talking about there? Protecting the office, the emolument, right? If necessary, we separate the actor from the office or the emolument. The only ones that have the power to do that are these guys. That is a republic. So if somebody is in position of emolument, right, and their conduct is, outside the letter or the rule of law, well, all you got to do is take that to the legislature. They're going to go through it. They'll order the investigation, and they're going to go, I've heard this jackwagon's name more than once, right?
Right.
So, again,
So I got a question for people out there that don't think that the legislature is going to do anything about it. And are you aware of how Trump has reorganized the entire executive branch?
Mhm.
Are you aware that things have changed? And it's been slow. And the military tribunal stuff just came effective January 1st of 2019.
Mhm.
And what I think it was like June or July about 19 of moving from the SES to the DOJ or DOD, pardon me, Department of Defense. Things have been going on for the last 3 years since President Trump got in there to change, to take away the power from these corrupt agencies that have been unlawfully created. And a few of them could not be abolished unless the government was shut down for longer than 30 days. That's why the government was shut down for longer than 30 days. Everybody saw on the news that it was about building the wall, right? That's what everybody was led to believe. The reason why the government shut down was about the wall. Well, it's kind of hard to tell the people the truth because a lot of people won't even frickin' believe it.
Right.
That members of Congress through history have unlawfully created these executive agencies. The legislature allegedly creates them. Congress creates them. And this is what they have dubbed them as interagencies, where he come right out and he said, it's like the legislature creates this agency, but then the legislature wants to control it and then it's supposed to be in the executive branch. It says it's in the executive branch, but then it acts more like the legislature in the executive branch, and nobody has any oversight for this interagency. So, they're and the Fed. Well, I'm telling you right now, that's already been done. Federal Reserve has already been taken over. IRS has already been taken over. Okay, Secret Service is in charge of that now.
Right.
There's a lot of things that have been happening, and apparently people haven't been paying attention. So I'm here to let you know that those things have already been done.
Right.
You just haven't been keeping tabs on what's really been going on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
There are things going on. Okay. Attorney General Barr's talking, what he talked about, like 8 of them here just the other day. And why do you think these people are freaking out and doing what they're doing? Because they know what's coming. President
Yep.
Trump didn't dig up an executive order from 1984 and make amendments to the manual for courts martials for nothing. Okay. He's not calling this stuff out as treason for nothing. He's not calling them out as kangaroo courts, which we've been calling them de facto and kangaroo courts for at least I have for 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Okay. He's not calling them kangaroo courts for nothing. He's not saying things like we should get rid of all judges, the ones that haven't been elected. And
Yeah.
he's
What
even said,
pillar of
man,
law are
who
they
is this guy? He's not even an elected official. He's
Yeah.
talking about
What?
Mueller.
Yeah. What pillar of law
Trump
are they
knows what's
acting in?
going on. This stuff cannot just get overturned and abolished overnight. It's just not. I mean, logically, it took 200 plus years to get where we're at right now.
Right. So again, right. So we know that these actors are acting outside the republic,
Mm-hmm.
the fourth pillar of the bar, the fifth pillar of Islam. We've already figured this out, right? So as far as the republic goes, you want to kick them the fuck out of here. You go in and you say, okay, remember, this is under petitions.
Right.
This is covered this a little bit in the after show. And for those of you who were not privy to this, somebody that doesn't have standing, right? Because that's what the court said, foreign emoluments have no standing. In the republic, that is somebody without doors,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because as a somebody who's properly incorporated, right, into the republic doing business as loss prevention, I know this fundamentally, principally, right? To the point I've even shown in history where my job actually originated from in the legislature, right? I'm going to show that again because anybody who's just joining us probably hasn't seen it. In the corporate world, loss prevention is this guy. My job is to work with the departments, the various departments, accounting, shipping and receiving, human resources, the list goes on and on and on, right? And what does that say? It basically advise the board and advise the CEO. That's the
Right.
Congress and the president. Same thing. So I can literally show where my office originated from in the Republic. So loss prevention is clearly Republican in character and format, to the point its origins go right to this fundamental office in the legislature. You want to know how I know this job so well? That's the reason I know it so well. I've been doing it for so long. So, my joking aside about, kid's mother saying, hey, dad, just go to work and do your job. Huh? You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I said, don't tell her she was right or I'm never going to live this shit down.
No.
So,
So, things take time, and
Mhm.
real due process of law takes time.
Right.
This theory of instant gratification, which is what I was talking about earlier, at the end of a fingertip, everybody's so used to having instant gratification. When something doesn't happen instantly, it's like, well, there's obviously something wrong here.
Uh-huh.
No, we filed with the legislature. It's under investigation. Make no mistake.
Right.
Each and every man or woman, including ourselves, is under investigation. Guarantee you.
You know why? Because I ordered it. And
I know. That's what I'm saying. It was ordered.
so,
That investigation was already ordered.
right.
We went to
So,
the legislature, the DOJ, the governor. We've already done that.
right. So,
Not in the judicial branch.
that's
Do you want
right.
to fight or do you want to win?
Now,
We
it's
don't
my
fight
favorite
in the
line.
judicial branch. You
Yeah.
take your grievances to the legislature.
to go kick
The
their
Department
ass.
of Justice, the Department of Defense, and the Secret Service is now the ones that are in charge of that.
So me claiming my right to life, the tree of life, right? Liberty, right? As the head of household, right? Incorporated as a craftsman, clockmaker, somebody who knows his craft very well. That's the reason that these things are there. That's the history behind them, right? Whether you know the history or whether you don't is really irrelevant, but unless, of course, you want to go claim what belongs to you, then you might want to learn it, right? So, what's the difference between a red blood ink signature and a blue doing business signature? Well, again, personal capacity, professional capacity. That's why I said, am I on or off the clock here? You tell me, bro. I know the difference. So you're not dealing with some jackwagon who doesn't know what the hell this thing here actually means. We know what the bar members and what the fucking Islamic all caps death state is. We already know what that says. Why? Because they feel entitled to kill you. Oh, you think? No shit. What are you going to do about it? Go kick their ass out of here. So, that's why I said, I think Trump's right. Don't just stand there and bitch about it. Hey, guess what? You're going to get to a bunch of no doors first. Eventually, you're going to start hitting a bunch of yeses for two reasons. They're going to see, number one, you're not going anywhere. You're persistent, right? And then once the first yeses start happening, and notice people are starting to take notice of that, it's a whole different octave shift when I hit the door now. Before you're going to get that arrogant, this doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, door to door to door. Next thing you know, all you see is loss prevention across the damn country. Everybody knows where that came from. Everybody knows who started it. So I couldn't quit doing it now if I wanted to. And, hey, I don't care. That's why I said, you want to go? You want to play Monopoly Corporation with a guy whose job it was to manage one of those? You're an idiot. So, and by the way, I'm on free parking and you're on my boardwalk with a hotel. Pay up. So,
In the computer geek world, that's an ID 10T.
right? So,
yeah, and absolutely right on the answer to the question, why can't President Trump pardon Field? Well, first of all,
there has to be a conviction.
Trump is federal. Field is not in for a federal offense. So President Trump can't even pardon Field. Number two, because Trump is federal, he can't pardon him.
He can
and he
pick up the phone.
hasn't been convicted yet, and it would have to be the governor of the state that would pardon a state offense.
Right. So, and again, we go back to what standing do they have? And the answer is they technically have no standing since they altered the fundamental law in 96.
Right.
Did anybody think to challenge that besides us?
Apparently not.
I know I did more than
Right.
once. Just saying. To the point, which is what pisses them off every time this thing shows up on their desk, and they know where this came from. Because as you can see, I make no bones about it. Right? I'm this guy here. I'm this Richard Cranium. I'm this dickhead with the idea, right?
Right.
So I know the difference between venture capital and virtual capital, right? So, oh yeah, I've watched this crap happen all around me. Don't think I don't know what's going on. Don't think I don't know how to prove a negative. Hell, we showed that. What was it? Nunez. Oh yeah, these inspectors general can prove their innocence with ease. It was like, ooh. So, it's don't think they don't know, but now that they know somebody's got their back, has the ear of the court, and it's like, Here's another thing that's not happening. Am I bothering the court every time I turn around? Nope. They have the Supreme Court, right? All judicial powers invested in one Supreme Court.
Yeah.
That's what the letter of the law says. I didn't write it. So, do I notice the state Supreme Courts? Absolutely. Should you wish to exercise discretionary jurisdiction, I'd welcome any opinion you have. It's pretty much a standard letter from my office. So, if they want to enter an opinion, I invite them in. I'm the guy who's standing there at the committee meeting going, "Where's the judge?" Huh? Yeah, you want the judge to eventually rule on this thing. Why isn't there a judge sitting here at this table, at this round table? Right? Why do we have to go through a pretended act of legislation so some idiot can screw it up? Then some other idiot has to take it into the judicial branch just for the judge to say, "You never had standing in law to do this anyway. What the hell are you doing?" So I said, "I'll tell you what, let's just skip the loop. Bring the judge in here and see what the judge says." Had the virtue of never having been tried. So my assessment of joint committee has also fundamentally altered the process because I have no objection. I got nothing to hide. I showed you mine. Show me yours. And nobody ever wants to do that. Have you ever noticed that? I got this little card, fits in my wallet.
Yep.
You go drinking with that card at the bar. That's what a bar card is, right? It says drinking.
Who says those people aren't under investigation, Eric? Remember, well, maybe you don't remember. You said you've been following us since our beginning. So you've been following us since February of 2017? Or how about prior to that for a year and a half on Blog Talk Radio? Were you following me there too? Law for Dummies. For some of you, maybe holdovers from Law for Dummies on Blog Talk Radio.
Right.
Before I came on to Facebook and before I came on to YouTube. Let's see, what was it? August that it was reported on and demanded an investigation into Timothy's case?
Right.
Yep. Yep. And oh, what about the election fraud stuff? Wasn't that like 2016? Where are they at on that?
Actually, again in 2018, which is one of the main reasons that I got sucked into that shit show.
All I can say is stop counting your chickens before the eggs have hatched. It's going to take some time. We're dealing with some serious deep state corruption. And if you're not aware of how corrupt Broward County is, I believe it's like number 3 in the nation as the top most corrupt county in the nation. You think it's just going to be that simple to just go in and investigate and start arresting people? No, they got to gather evidence, real evidence. And they have to follow due process of law. They can't violate the 4th Amendment. They can't violate the 5th Amendment. They can't violate the 6th Amendment because these people will get off on violation of due process of law.
That
Plain and simple.
that basic Magna Carta due process.
That basic Magna Carta due process.
Right. So now, granted, what I want to know
if
is
you seem to think that you have some evidence that you'd like to submit, go right ahead. Follow due process of law and submit it to the DOJ, which is Lindsey Graham, who is the head of the committee for the DOJ. So send it to Lindsey Graham.
And also send
write your remonstrance. Write your remonstrance and say, hey, these people are in violation of the law. I need you to investigate this. Okay. That's going to take some time.
Right. So
they're pretty busy.
Knowing and understanding how loss prevention got sucked into that. Remember, what's in the Masons manual? Nominations, elections, election certification of members, and discipline and expulsion of members, right? Legislative officers. This is all part of the legislative process. as my job originated from where? The parliamentarian? I'm pretty qualified to know how to do this shit. So know and understand that there are a lot more issues than just one case here. You know, this book is pretty stout. And again, if we don't have good qualified people sitting in those emoluments, you can expect the wheels are going to come off the wagon.
Right, right.
So, you know, basically one of my favorites is okay, where's the lug nuts for this damn thing? I'm looking at a wheel, and there's, I think, two over there. So
Yeah.
where's the lug nuts? You ain't gonna put them damn wheels back on there without lug nuts. Nice going,
Just
lug
saying,
nuts. Oh,
you know, the level of corruption and
Yeah.
the amount of people that are in charge,
right.
you know, this has taken quite a while to get this way. But you know, when you're somebody like George Soros that has a crap ton of money,
Not
they
just
can
him.
just buy people off and pay. Okay,
Ah,
lots and lots and lots of people across this nation, and not just America. I'm telling you, this is worldwide, folks. They've been planning this one world government for a long time. This isn't something new, and it isn't something just for America.
right.
What part of one world government do people not comprehend?
Here's a little tidbit, right, of things to come. What you just said, I mean, literally verbatim, what Kirk just said. Watch this very closely. This is about Harvey Weinstein.
Men in Hollywood. Now, Harvey Weinstein will be heading to prison. The disgraced Hollywood mogul found guilty today of third-degree rape and a criminal sex crime. But the jury acquitted him on the most serious charges, being a sexual predator, which would have carried a potential life sentence. Weinstein faces up to 29 years in prison. Before we get to the facts of this, though, I thought to myself today, without Ronan Farrow, would we have this day?
Well, it was Jodi Kantor and Megan Twohey, the two reporters at the New York Times, who originally broke that story, and they wrote the book, She Said, where they go into great detail, but continue.
Well, no, I mean, my point was NBC was sitting on this, on the Ronan Farrow stuff, right?
Yes.
So,
and then Weinstein tried to prevent Ronan Farrow from he tried to get NBC to stop it, and then when Ronan continued to work on it, he did all sorts of things, like try to have him followed, some pretty nasty things. And so, yeah, Ronan Farrow, though, today tweeted that he doesn't deserve any credit. As you pointed out, the New York Times reporters were there. But he also said, like, the women that came forward to tell their stories were quite courageous. He's going to, they asked for home detention for him because he had the backstories that didn't go well. Well, it's not going to happen. Looks like it's not going to happen. He's going to have to go to Rikers. He still faces indictments in California. Okay. And even if he were to make a plea deal now on those, that the jail time that would do here, that California time would be in addition to.
He's facing 5 to 29 years on these convictions. He was acquitted on the larger charges, which included the uncharged sexual abuse allegations. So this, because I watched Dana's show, and Andy McCarthy was on, and he said these convictions are more likely to stand up under appeal because those larger charges he was acquitted on. But
now pay attention, right? It's easier to nab them for the lesser offense than it is to go for the entire truckload. Right? How many times have we said it? Do you want to fight or do you want to win? Right?
Lots of times.
Well, hey, again, you want to take them out? Take them out at the kneecaps. You don't have to go for the headshot every time. Right? Mm-hmm. All it takes is a kneecap shot. Trust me.
I just want to point out one thing. I hope that these reporters, everyone keeps digging into the circle of people around Harvey Weinstein throughout Hollywood, throughout politics, who covered this up literally for decades. He was able to get away with it because people either knew and helped him basically destroy women's lives and helped him continue to sexually assault women year after year after year, or that they just looked away because he was benefiting their careers or he was benefiting their pocketbooks, and that includes a lot of Democrats.
So, again, You think that you're the only one that knows it's corrupt? The corruption is coming out.
It
Right?
is.
It's coming out in
It's
the
now starting to come into the news.
yeah, we're
Right.
seeing it in the mainstream. She
I mean,
just spelled it out.
yep.
Everything you guys have said in your comments, and I watch them as best I can. Right?
So there's proof right there. There's somebody that got arrested, went to trial, was found guilty, and is going to prison. It is happening, folks.
Yep. So
It is happening right before your eyes. You just have to, open your eyes and pay attention.
that's
I
right.
realize that, a lot of people go to work, banker's hours or whatever, 8, 9, 10, 12-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts, depending on what you do and where you
Chinese
work and
overtime for
what
me.
field you're working in. But I get that. So, this is the reason why Chris and I are sitting here right now is because, I can't focus on anything else. I'm tired of the tyranny. And I need you folks to get educated on what your rights are, where they come from in law, and how to effectively defend them.
Right.
And until we can get to that point, we're really not going to get anywhere. Because it's going to take all of us to stand up, stand for our rights, and start following due process of law.
That's right. Right? Because again, what's the first thing they do when you file a complaint against them? They file a what?
Rule 12b-6, motion to dismissal.
For what?
So, motion to dismiss.
For what?
For failure to state a claim for which relief can be granted.
There it is. So what's the answer? Learn how to state your damn claim.
That's right. What, again, I've read it. I'll read it again. It's right out of this freaking book here. It's from law school, right? Just because I didn't go and pay $70,000 to go to law school doesn't mean that I can't read and comprehend.
Right.
But it says from
Means you're
the
smarter than
law
they
book
were.
from law school, notice that says common law pleading. So the common law is not case law stare decisis,
Right.
okay? Right here. Common law is the law, the real law, the self-evident law, the law that's common to all. But it even says, actually, I think I'm under action of trespass here.
Yeah. And if you talk to the bar members, they say, well, we have precedent that says that case law is stare decisis is the common law.
Right.
Uh,
In a monarchy,
that's you believing your own bullshit.
in a monarchy, that's how common law is made, is through the judicial branch. But
Yeah.
they don't have a judicial branch, technically speaking.
Right.
Right. But we have a branch of government, judicial branch. Monarchy is just one of the 4 pillars of a monarchy. You got the king, the prince, parliament, and the bar.
That's right.
That's the 4 pillars of law in a monarchy.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you'll notice, our form of government is totally different. That's why it's called a republic, not a democracy, not a democratic republic. We are a constitutional republic. That's it. Nothing else, because we have a constitution that institutes government. And Article 4, Section 4 is guaranteed republican form of government, not a democracy. But yeah, I kind of been reading this one. I kind of probably went through almost 100 some pages here. But yeah, here it is. Page 86, okay? The actual statement of the cause of action. You have to have a right to a cause of action. You have to claim that right to a cause of action. And when you're going to claim your right to a cause of action, here are the 3 elements that need to be in your complaint. And it's the declaration, right? Declaration must state distinctly and with certainty every fact that is essential to the plaintiff's prima facie case. No essential allegations can be imported into the declaration by inference or intendment. The principles, okay, points to be shown in the statement of a cause of action are: 1, the plaintiff's right. What right are we talking about? Number 2, the defendant's wrongful act violating that right. Number 3, the consequent damages. Now, keep this in mind. If you're the defendant and you receive a complaint, and in the declaration, it doesn't declare, one, what's the name of the man who has standing in law to claim the right to a cause of action. Number 2, they don't declare what right it was that you violated. Number 3, what the conduct was that violated that right. And number 4, what the damages are. That's a fraudulent complaint. Oh, gee, let's take a look at Field's complaint. Imagine that. For those of you that have seen it, which
Right.
I happen to have a certified copy of it, and now
Well,
they've changed it. They dropped 2 of the charges, and now they're only charging him with 1. Well, wait a minute, but you arrested him on these 3. So you're going to have to try him on these 3.
Again, how do you call them out on that bullshit? What's the process for that? And did anybody do that other than us?
I don't know of anybody who has followed due process of law other than us.
There's the guy's address. There's the due process on how to do it. We've shown this 1,000 times. This is my example, right? Because I don't show anybody's case examples. I will show my own. But guess what? The only difference is in the matter of what the case number is and who the actors are, who the parties are. The rest of it's exactly the same. If you can't figure that out, you're walking around with your head up your ass. So use your head, apply logic and reason, right? And when I send out these packets, I've said packet more than a few times, right? This version of these packets went out on September 12th of 19. Okay. So there have been many versions, right? Specifically ordering an investigation, right? And when you order the investigation, that is only one office of what? Emolument, right? Same date, September 12th, Florida House of Representatives, right? The legislative mechanism. I'm here to give you an order, right? Here's the order. And here we go. Lindsey Graham. There's Lindsey Graham's address, right?
There you go.
If I haven't been doing this, how the hell would I know the guy's address?
Right.
Moving on. Governor, right? State governor. There we go. Want to get a hold of Mike DeWine up there in Ohio? There's his phone number. There's his address. Say hi to me or say hi for me on the way by. You'll know who I am. Trust and believe. They all know who I am. So, House of Representatives, September 12th. Remember, that's what I said. And every time I do this, it's this process over and over and over and over again. Right? The only difference is what's the case, the matter of, who are the parties, right? And then I send follow ups. What's going on, right? Do I need to send in a parliamentary inquiry? Do I need to send in a FOIA request, right? What do you want me to do, right? Here's the process, right? The conflicts between stipends and subsidies. We already know that. Hello, duh. You know, in my world, in the corporate world that I worked in, those are called subsidies. In the Islamic state of whatever the fuck they're talking about, they're called stipends because they're entitled to that. No shit. You have a problem with it? Go to the legislature and tell them, hey, I got a problem with this garbage. Right? Don't stand there and bark at us. So, this is how you go in there and you say, I'm here to claim my power. Right? You're sitting in an office of emolument, but your ass belongs to me. So when it does get to a court, and the bar member says, motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim for which relief can be granted, judge is going to go, wrong. I'm looking right at a claim here. I'm looking right at the process. Oh, guess what else I have in front of me? I have the substance of the investigation from this claim. Why?
Yeah.
Because these guys did what? They followed the law, due process of law as it was written, right? Exercise their political power, that right to work. I mean, come on, guys, focus. These are things that you take for granted every day. But their origins come from somewhere, right? Do they come from the Constitution? Do they come from somewhere else? Is it written in the book? Can you even find it? Hence the whole sovereign citizen. I can't look that up in the dictionary. That sounds like some shit made up to me.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I've already defeated that sovereign citizen crap in court.
More than once. You and me both.
Yeah, but in court. I've already done it. Shut down the motion in limine. That prosecuting attorney flipped out as soon as the judge said, well, are we taking up this motion in limine? And then the prosecutor, no, never mind. Nope, never mind. No.
We're out of here. See ya.
Nope. Yeah, because he couldn't make his argument because I rebutted every single one of them point by point. So just so you people know out there, we're not yelling at you. This is our passion, right?
Right.
We're passionate about the law and we're tired of tyranny.
Yep.
We're on your side unless you're one of those trolls that seem to think we don't know what we're doing and what we're talking about. More specifically, we would be directing any kind of passionate stuff about the law towards the trolls.
Right.
If you're here to learn, you're here to learn.
Let's do it.
That's
here
great.
3 nights a
what
week.
we're really about here is the education. So,
yeah, we're here 3 nights a week at our own expense, except for those of you who have donated. Right. So I say thank you. It's not very hard. So, that's why I say, the more I'm able to show you guys, yes, I've been at this for a while. And now these resolutions are coming to fruition. Where did I find the word resolution? Right? Because that's really what it's about. Right? We already know what the actors are. We already know what the problem is. What's the remedy? What's the resolution? There's got to be.
Well, most of the time, aren't we sitting here saying the same things that you guys think of and want to say anyway?
Right.
I mean, to the people that we're actually directing this passion to is these dipshit bar members who've been lied to. They can't even pay attention when you're making a sound argument based in law and show them the frickin' law, and they still can't get it. It's like, it's so frustrating to me. It's like, dude, this is like 5th grade. Are you smart as a 5th grader? I mean, 5th graders can read and comprehend this stuff.
Right.
You went to frickin' law school, paid how much to go to law school, and you're sitting here telling me that you know the law and I don't? Kick rocks, dude.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
I mean, I just read straight out of a frickin' book that you should have been taught in law school, because this is from law school.
Right. So, again, knowing what the process is, again, part of my job description every day while I was at work, right? Oh, I know the difference between a petition and a remonstrance. Okay. And there it is right there. Section 21, resolutions. Son of a bitch. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm just a gearhead mechanic, electrician, computer guy. God, what else? I've damn near done every phase of construction except for concrete, HVAC, and plumbing as a job. Other than I have replumbed an entire house by myself. I have done other plumbing work on other houses. 3rd-year apprentice electrician, top of my class. I've got lots of knowledge and experience in many things. But come on now.
Again,
the law is supposed to be written in plain English so that the average man can read it and comprehend it.
Well, and again, my job doing business in commerce. So you bet your ass, right? We're going to know stuff like that, right? To know a thing and to be bound to know it or regarded in law as equivalent. That's right. I have one of those offices of emoluments right over my head. So, again, if I'm bound to know it, I bet your ass I want to know it. So,
Well, it goes back to what I just read right out of the law book here on the common law pleadings. They went to school to learn this right here.
Right.
This is right out of the book. I just read it to you. How in the hell do you, as a defense counsel, being paid to defend someone, how do you not make a motion for dismissal based on a defective complaint? Every time, like when somebody goes to sue them, again, what's the first thing that they file? A Rule 12b-6 motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim for which relief can be granted.
Well, again,
Why aren't they doing the same thing for the people they're supposedly being paid to defend?
Well, and here's what I want to know. If you went to this law school, right, you're deemed to know the law, right, to know a thing and to be bound to know it or regarded in law as equivalent. You're the one waving your little benefits card around, right? So how is it that you don't know? How's the difference? How is it you don't know the difference between a republic, a monarchy, and a dead entity nation of Islam? How do you not know the difference between the three? Explain that. Because I know I damn sure do. I've shown definitive proof of it. So,
right.
Again, I'm gonna get to the whole. Where the hell is it?
And heck, if I have to say some things to piss you off to get you to start studying the law, so be it.
Challenge accepted.
Right. But even if it hurts your feelings a little bit,
good. That's what it takes to kick you in your ass. That's what it took to kick me in my ass.
Just so everybody's aware, your right to freedom, my right to freedom of speech is the same right to freedom of speech as yours. And I have the right to hurt your feelings.
That's right.
Your feelings don't matter.
Because my feelings didn't matter to the kid's mother when she was kicking me in my ass saying, go do your fucking job and go fix this problem. God damn it.
Right.
Divorced how many years and I'm still going, yes, dear. So
all I know
don't hand me your problems. I don't want to hear it.
When the whole Bundy thing went down, I'm like, I pretty much just lost all control of my life, felt the calling to come here and start educating the people because I seen what was coming.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, we need to get the people educated. If these people are going to start standing up and doing this, they need to know what their rights are, where they come from in law, and how to effectively defend them.
Well, there you go. So again, what's that emolument on my wall? I'm not to know a thing and to be bound to know it or regarded in law as equivalent, right? I said, okay, challenge accepted, right? This is an officer appointed by the executive or other appointment, right? Because if there's going to be an office, there's going to be a job description. So their duties are generally prescribed by such laws, the most usual of which are number one, to attest deeds, agreements, and other instruments in order to give them authenticity.
Like, would that be a trumpet or a flute?
Right.
Saxophone?
So basically, in other words, I have to judge.
Oh, wait. I love the number 2. To protest notes, bills of exchange, and the like. Whoa, wait a minute. What are they talking about? Protest notes. And we're talking under a notary. That's right, because a protest is a written declaration.
There you go. And to certify copies of agreements and other instruments. In other words, to do
flutes
what?
and trumpets again.
Right. Maintain the truth in the record. That's my damn job description. Uh-oh. Somebody's in for a shit ton of trouble. So again, reading means reading, to know a thing and to be bound to know it or regarded in law as equivalent. So you want to play shit made up with a guy whose job it is to defeat that. Okay. You such a dumbass. Ah, anyway,
Right.
this is Bovier's. This is posted, for you guys. This is what page 1419 of 21 or 2081 on the in the electronic version. It's posted in my group, so you guys go down here and read all this stuff if you want. Right? There's 5 sections on what it is I do. I just started with the duties. I just want to know what the hell the job description is. The rest of this stuff is primarily stuff that I have to know, so I know how to do the job. Let's see here. Here's one. And all the laws and parts of laws for punishing perjury or what? Subordination of perjury. Would that be 1621 and 1622 under Title 18? Son of a bitch, I even know the code. Imagine that. So, committed in any such oaths or affirmations. Somebody swears an affidavit that, oh yeah, you did blurb or somebody did blurb, blah, 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 blah. Well, we can say, well, where's your evidence to support your claim? I left it in my other jacket. And wait a minute. Okay, so that's perjury by somebody that's deemed to know the law. And then some other idiot who holds another one of those same bar cards subordinates it. So you got one lying and the other one swearing to it. Well, I think I just described everybody's freaking problem with that little segment right there. So again, I hate to admit it, but she was right. It is my job to fix this shit. So I'm working on it. Okay. I'm working on it. So, the fact that I have to literally take the dictionary in there and lay it down in front of them and go, hey, I have to know this. So if I have to know it and I'm supposed to be an officer in this room, you should know it, shouldn't you? Oh, I didn't know that. Aha. Right? That's a training issue. I've handled one or two of those in my day. So again, you want to claim and exercise your standing, right? Your standing as the head of household, as the free man, the free woman. You don't even have to say it. All you have to do is do it. We showed you this in the PowerPoint on contracts, right? The 4 corners rule. Okay. There it is right there. Totally executed for you. This is published so you guys can print this and copy it, duplicate it, plagiarize it. I don't care. I mean, hell, everything that's from the what was it? From the Jefferson's manual right there. That's what I did. I took it right out of Jefferson's manual. That's a direct quote from Jefferson's manual right there, those 2 sections and so on. Right? That body of law, the Hobbs Act, right? We want to talk about property. I can define what property is. The term property includes money and other tangible and intangible things of value. You want a definition of property? There you go. You're welcome. Right? Are your rights your property? I think you've heard us say that once. That's a true fact of once or twice. So if somebody's going to go out and advocate for somebody else, you better know what the term property is if you're going to talk about claiming and, hey, give me my rights back. 6th Amendment, buddy. Not 14th, 6th Amendment. That 14th Amendment bullshit out of here. Right? I want that basic Magna Carta due process. And when they usurp that, you just lost all standing in law. We know that. Boom, we're done. So, but, again, who besides us has been actually doing this? I know that I've been showing as many people as I can. Now I know there's plenty of people trying to solve their own problem, which is good because you're getting the legislators' feet wet, going, hey, wait a minute, that's not the job I was told I was coming here to do. Well, dude, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you ran for this office, you're sitting in that emolument. There's a user's book that goes with that emolument. Here it is. Pick it up and read it. Let's go to work. So they ain't going to give it to you. You got to go in there and take it. Isn't that right?
Only on days that end my
Ish. Just saying. Been doing this long enough now to know that, hey, notice how I also put this. Where did I put that? Ah, right here. Excuse me.
This is great. Diane Johnson. Hey guys, my education on law was Perry Mason. Also
Right.
on the Flintstones. Perry Masonry.
Oh, God.
Didn't Fred and Barney have dinosaur asses?
Right. So again, you have to know and understand that these, politicians they're like prostitutes. They're whores just as much as everybody else is. So don't think they're not, right? So you have to figure out a way to say, look, helping you is good. I need to figure out what can I do to help you that's going to help me help you help me, right? Let's see, carry the two. Yeah, that's right. So, again, so you don't go in there and say, listen here, you son of a bitch. You go in there and say, we collectively, we've been had. That's a hell of a lot easier for them to swallow than you son of a bitch. You fucked me when I wasn't looking, right? So you see what I'm saying? It's you gotta kind of pay attention to the person to whom you're speaking, why you're speaking to them, and how they're going to receive what it is you're telling them. So if you go in there and say we've been had, then they're going to say, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Well, good. I'm glad we can at least agree on that. So, you know, yeah, I don't know about the whole coronavirus. I keep getting private messages on the whole corona thing. Um, all I know is I think Lyme goes with corona. That's about what I know about the whole corona thing. I'm not a doctor. I don't know nothing about any of that stuff, and I'm not even going to sit here and try to tell you that I do. So I know there are people out there that are a lot smarter on coronas than I am, and if it don't have a Lyme in it, I
Well,
don't know nothing
I,
about it.
I look at it this way. It's a virus. It's a cold.
Yeah,
Okay. We have an immune system. Our bodies are designed to tackle that.
right.
Although
Yep.
I've been fighting this crap for 2 weeks.
Oh hell, I'm still dealing with
Ugh.
damn pollen. My head, I'm sneezing. My head's all stuffed up. Feel like somebody stuck an air compressor up my left nostril and went. My head's all like.
Right.
So, yeah, I get it. I understand.
Yeah. But, again, in my mind, I think, one, it's a scare tactic. Number two, it's a distraction from what's really going on.
Weapons of mass distraction.
Weapons of mass distraction.
Tell a lie vision.
Imagine that. Trump just had a little press conference on that. I was actually catching a little bit about that earlier. And, Trump got crap for shutting down, travel into the United States from certain countries because of, he's doing his job to protect this nation from all things foreign and domestic that may cause injury and harm to the people. We don't want a bunch of people coming from China coming over here and spreading that coronavirus.
Right.
Sorry, you're travel banned. I mean, he's doing his job.
Yep. Looks like I just saw a prompt come up here in my Facebook live feed. Another mass shooting in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee is in Wisconsin, is in Wisconsin, isn't it not? My geography is probably all screwed up, but
Is that Illinois?
I don't know.
Milwaukee?
Yeah, Milwaukee, I believe, is actually how the natives pronounced it. But somebody will answer it here in the comments, I'm confident. Mm-hmm. There is, whoops, I got 3 mice over here. I need to concentrate on which mouse I'm horsing around with. This is driving me crazy.
Get yourself a mouse trap. They're starting to breed.
Yeah.
I got 2.
I need to build a better mouse trap.
Right. Okay, so we got a question out here. Let's see what we can do here. Any advice on filing malpractice beyond statute of limitation under common law? I have severe injury from malpractice, and the symptoms did not develop until almost 2 years. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is when you first know about the injury is when the timeline starts. That's when, when you have the right to the cause of action. So, I don't know much about malpractice or any of that area of stuff. That's not my area of knowledge. See, here it is. Here's me admitting that I don't know something. Get it,
Okay.
trolls. I'm admitting that I don't know something.
Ruh-roh.
So,
I think the world just fell over. That's okay. One of the, remember, she actually came to the right place because.
Well, what I was just going to say, in my mind, it's an injury. You have the right to file suit. Plain and simple. Claim your right to a cause of action and sue the crap out of them.
Okay. So let's look at the law, right? Wherever there's a right, there's a remedy. It's a maxim of law. Okay. So here we go. Sanctions imposed by courts on attorneys who abuse the judicial process, right? So could this be, let's see here. This comment suggests that that a variety of virtually ignored sanctions is available to courts. Section 1927 of Title 28 of the United States Code and Rule 37 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, right? Pay very close attention here. Go back to my remonstrance document and what's that right there? So
28 USC Code 1927.
So what's this process geared at?
Going after the bar?
Just saying. So
are you going after the bar, bro?
So
not
I
without
said,
you're not.
Only on days that end in Y, sweetheart. So again, guess what else I found? Under Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, there's third-party practice under Rule 14, and there's Rule 37.
Would that be amicus?
Right there
Third-party
from the
intervener?
document. Yeah. So again, third-party practice, that's explained mathematically, right? To clarify all this negative bullshit, to say that -1 will never equal 1. Honey, you came to the right spot because this document is exactly what you're talking about. To the letter. Been working on this case. I've been working on this stuff hence the reason we get so many trolls around here. Because who are they paid for? Those trolls are paid for brought to you in part by the bar trolls.
Right.
It is what it is. So, knowing and understanding the fundamental principles, right, of law and legal doctrine that explain the mathematics, right? The orders of operation of this equation. That's what this stuff is right up in here, right? So beyond the multiplication sign, right, there has to be rules, fundamental principles behind the equation, the process. Good science is good observation, right?
So
So,
here's something I would recommend out there. Find a find a paralegal that's worked for malpractice lawsuits. Find a paralegal and hire a paralegal to draft your paperwork for you, help you do it. Paralegals are cheaper, and to be honest, they're the ones that are actually know the law stuff behind the members of the bar.
right.
Anytime I've ever gone, when I used to hire members of the bar, you always got to go in and sit down with the paralegal and do the paperwork. It's always the paralegal that's doing all the work. The attorney's the only one, the member of the bar, they just show up to court.
Right.
I don't even hardly ever sit down and talk with the member of the bar. It's always the paralegal. So, for the most part, people could just hire a paralegal to help you do your paperwork, save yourself half of the money because paralegals are about half as much as an attorney, and just read from your paperwork when you go to court.
Yep.
That's what I would, at this particular point, the best recommendation that I could make for you in a malpractice lawsuit where I don't know jack shit about it, really.
Right. Well,
I mean, I know due process of law. I know you claim your right to a cause of action and you can sue the crap out of them. It's just a matter of, where's the remedy? What part of the code or statute or whatever it is that's been supplied? Most of the time, you can go in and find under those particular types of businesses, you have the right to sue them.
well,
But that takes some time to read. So
this office has standing because of these documents to go after these bar members. Hence the resolution. That's what I said. I've had so many people ask me how I did this. It's one of the fundamental reasons I do the show with you. Right?
what? Why are you here again?
Here's the theory, right? You've already seen the practice. Jim Jordan, I'll play Jim Jordan's video for you again.
Wait. Why are you here with me again?
To show you guys exactly how I'm doing this, going after the bar, bro. That's 1R, by the way, right? 1R
Yes.
bar, not
1R,
2 R's.
not 2.
Right. So, yeah, sorry about that, Bill. We love you, brother. So, anyway, moving on. This was the update, right? That weaponized family court supplement, right? Because I already filed the original reporting series. Well, again, right? There's the mandate, right? There's that, 28 USC 1927 right there on the cover.
Here it is again.
Right. And wait a minute, because I have an emolument of my own, that makes me a what? A mandatory reporter, 29 USC subsection 1109. I'm duty bound to do this. I don't have a choice. I have to. So,
There's
too
them
bad,
a
so sad, bar member.
plunder.
Right. So when I see emoluments violations, right? Emoluments of statutable plunder, Annals of America, Volume 2, right? I'm duty bound to go to the legislature and say, yo, dude, we got some emoluments violations going on here. And I don't know where the hell these other pillars of law came from, but you need to get rid of that shit too. So, and they're going, what the hell's a pillar of law? So, that's believe it or not, there's good and bad to there being bar members in the legislature, because at least the ones that are in the legislature, I can hold their ass to that bar card, and they don't like it. So, hey, well, I went to law school. Well, good, then you know the difference between a republic, a monarchy, and a dead entity nation of Islam, huh? Yeah, don't play stupid with me. You know what I'm talking about,
right?
So, yeah, they know damn what I'm talking about. They're playing stupid. So again, this is published. You guys have seen this. So, but to answer the young lady's question, this is what I did. This is how I did it. This is why I got standing. Pick a court and a state and all the stuff behind me on the wall there. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's just, it is what it is.
Fix it
Let's
fast
do it, Joe.
says he's telling mom that you're playing with your emolument.
Watch out or you'll go blind.
Poke somebody's eye out with that thing. All right, so I did have a little something I'd like to share with you folks out there. I don't know how many people are even know what it takes to pass the civics test to be an American. I like to share this with y'all.
Oh, this is good. Where's my
This has been recently revised, one of 19.
right?
So this is the newer revision. Actually, I'll just read it from over here, so you guys can. Yeah. Okay. So civics, history, and government questions for the naturalizations test. I wonder how many of us out here would actually pass this sucker to become an American. Principles of American democracy. What is the supreme law of the land? The Constitution. The question should be, what is? Oh, wait, it is. What is the supreme law of the land? Oh, that would be the supreme due process of law. That would be the correct answer. What does the Constitution do? Oh, look at that. It sets up the government, defines the government, and protects basic rights of Americans. We don't have constitutional rights. We have God-given natural rights, and we have man-made over time civil rights, which also have nothing to do with the establishment, support, or management of government. They're supposed to be protecting those rights from all things foreign to the people. All things that are foreign to the people, like John Doe Pharmaceuticals or John Doe medical staff or, John Doe vaccine manufacturer, John Doe McDonald's hamburger maker. That's what they're supposed to be protecting us from. They haven't been doing that for quite some time, but that's what it says. But again, we do not have constitutional right. We have constitutionally protected rights, and more specifically, the conduct of government and the characteristic of our government cannot interfere with our rights. Again, has nothing to do with the establishment, support, or management of government, which would be American Jurisprudence, Volume 15, Civil Rights, Section 2. The idea of self-government is in the first three words of the Constitution. Imagine that. What are these words, people? Whoops, I gave one of them away. We, the people, because we are self-governed. So that license to practice law, license being that which you have to seek permission to do, right? Is seeking some, what is it? License. Come on, think. Seeking permission to do a thing that would otherwise be illegal.
Right.
Okay? Illegal meaning contract.
Right.
So the Sixth Amendment says we have the right to the assistance of counsel. Clearly, you cannot convert that right into a privilege and license it and attach a fee to it. That would be Murdoch versus Pennsylvania.
Right.
So we're self-governed. Do you actually have to? I mean, whose permission do you need to get to provide assistance of counsel? Sure in the hell isn't some association. I mean, again, do we have to go to the National Rifle Association to claim and exercise our right to keep and bear arms? Does the National Rifle Association have the power to issue licenses to practice shooting guns or practice keeping and bearing arms? Kind of sounds pretty stupid, don't it? It's about as stupid as going to the bar for this alleged license to practice law. When
Well,
the
I've had
law
the
is supposed
same
to be
too.
written in plain English so that the average man can read it and comprehend it. And of the people, because we're self-governed, are the sole arbiters of the law.
And I've had the same two arms since I was a kid. They haven't changed. So
Right.
just saying.
Okay, so what is an amendment? A change to the Constitution, an addition to the Constitution. What do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution? I would say that's a fraud because the Bill of Rights is one amendment. Because if we read the top portion of the real Bill of Rights, it says articles in addition to and amendment. I may have to write these people a letter and let them know that they need to correct their verbiage. What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment?
You have the right to instruct your representatives, you know.
It says one of your rights is the right to speech. You can speak. Imagine that. Right of religion, right of assembly, right of press, and whoa, look at that. Petition the government for the redress of grievances. Right there in the First Amendment, folks. How many amendments does the Constitution have? Technically 18. What did the Declaration of Independence do? False. Announced our independence from Great Britain. No, that would be the Lee's resolution that did that. Declared our independence from Great Britain. False. That would be the Lee's resolution that did that. Said that the United States is free from Great Britain. False. That would be the Lee's resolution that did that. That would be June 7th, 1776, and was ratified July 2nd, 1776. What are two rights in the Declaration of Independence? Well, how about that? These would be those among these unalienable or unalienable, for those that don't understand unalienable, not inalienable, it's unalienable. Among those rights, those God given, natural, unalienable rights, among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Imagine that's why the Article the 4th, 5th, and 6th cover this particular rights right here. Right out of but the Declaration of Independence isn't law. Yes, it is. Because rights and declarations actually lay down the law.
I was going to say, you want to bet?
It's right in Black's Law Dictionary.
How many debt notes you got?
Law, that which is laid down, ordained, and established. Well,
Right.
Constitution is ordained and established. State constitutions are ordained or established. So that leaves laying down the law. And, oh, gee, I guess that's what declarations do. They lay down the law. Why do you think I have to correct myself on that verbiage, most all of the state constitutions start off in Article 1 with a Bill of Rights, a Declaration of Rights. In Idaho, it calls it a Declaration of Rights. Declaration of Rights lays down the law for the state. But they don't want to tell you that one either because, well, the statutes are the law. Nope. Sorry. Not even close to being law. C. Peterson versus Peterson. The Idaho Code is not law. Why? Because the Code Commission doesn't have the authority to make law. Thank you. Have a nice day. What is freedom of religion? You can practice any religion or not practice a religion. Well, that's half true. And I've showed this before and I posted this before. Under the First Amendment, right to protection of religion, so long as the religion does not profess the use of force and violence, which is why Islam is not a First Amendment right protected religion. And that has already been to the Supreme Court as well. So, nonetheless, what is the economic system in the United States? Oh boy, this is great. Capitalist economy, market economy. That means you have the right to contract your labor as you see fit, uninhibited by statutes, rules, and regulations. How about C. Hale versus Hinkle on that one? Your right to contract is unlimited. That's what capitalism means. What is the rule of law? False. Rule of law happens to be like, the rule of law. Like maxims of law are the rule of law, like rules of procedure. This is false, to be honest. Everyone must follow the law. No, that's just the law. It's not the rule of law. Leaders must obey the law. Government must obey the law. No one is above the law. So, what seems to be the problem here? Why are they not following the law? Why are they not being held accountable? I mean, if nobody is above the law, why are they not being held accountable? Drum roll. People haven't been following due process of law and reporting them. They haven't been telling on them.
Well, no, that's only part of it.
You
Right?
got to properly tell on them. And not only that, we're dealing with corruption.
Oh, well, again, that's welcome to the dead Islamic State
But,
of whatever
like I
the
said,
problem.
I've been down to the archives here in Idaho State Capitol, and I asked them to do some research and find out if anyone in Idaho has ever filed a remonstrance. Since 1863, nobody in Idaho has filed a remonstrance.
Ruh-roh.
It's like a dereliction of duty of the people to me since 1863 in Idaho.
Right?
So, how about the system of government? Boy, this gets good.
So how's that redneck and knees working for you out there, bro?
Well, this here right there, rim fire thing goes right there, and it goes pow, pow, pow. Name one branch or part of the government. Congress, which is what? A gaggle of monkeys.
Right.
Legislative, president, executive, the courts, judicial. Imagine that. I don't see parliament. I don't see the bar. Those are all acceptable answers. And the only acceptable answers, the correct. Do you see the bar there, bro?
No.
Nope. Don't happen to see the bar in part of the government.
Nope. It's a foreign emolument.
Son of a gun. I only
Article
see
1, Section 9, Clause 8.
three branches of government and three parts of the government.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
So, yep, that's actually an emoluments violation, isn't it?
Bingo.
The bar. Oh, son of a bitch.
So here we go. What stops one branch of government? Oh, we have three distinct branches of government. Imagine that. We just covered that in 13. From becoming too powerful. Checks and balances. And there's the doctrine of separation of powers. A power properly belonging to one branch of government cannot be exercised in the other. Okay, knowing this doctrine, that means the judicial branch does not have the power to make law. Therefore, the decisions of the court, of the judicial branch, is not law, and it's not the common law.
Right?
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Sorry to burst your
bum.
In our republic, the judicial branch does not have the power to make law. Have a nice day. Who is in charge of the executive branch? The people. Sorry. It says the president, but actually, technically speaking, it would be the people, and we're supposed to instruct our president to do specific duties.
That's right.
Who makes federal laws? Congress, Senate, and the House of Representatives, U.S. or national legislature.
So what I want to know is if they're making laws, are they making land, air, or water?
Well,
or
again,
space? Because remember, we have laws now with Space Force.
Right,
so
right, right, right.
Are they making land, air, water, or space?
But it says who makes federal laws.
Okay,
Well,
so federal land, federal law, federal air, federal water, or federal space.
within the jurisdiction of the federal government. Read Federalist 45, folks. Basically, essentially, in Federalist 5, they talk about this. Essentially, only two things were actually granted. Two powers were essentially granted to the federal government.
Right.
which is what? Commerce, and more specifically, interstate and foreign commerce, and the military
Right.
to defend this nation from all things foreign to the people, foreign and domestic enemies.
That includes emoluments.
Read Federalist 45, folks. That's essentially all the federal government is supposed to be doing.
That's
Making
right.
law regarding commerce, interstate commerce.
Well, Jurisdiction 1 in Washington is their primary job is to defend against foreign emoluments. So what the
Uh,
fuck are you doing incorporating those into our government? You
Right.
dumbass. Right?
Yep. What are the two parts of the U.S. Congress, the Senate and the House? How many U.S. senators are there? 100. Wrong mouse. No, this is the right mouse. It's the left mouse, but it does the right.
Right.
It's actually on this computer over here, but I'm looking at this screen over here with this
Oh, yeah.
mouse running that screen over there. Okay, who is one of your state U.S. senators? Oh, wait. We elect a U.S. senator for how many years? Oh, look at that. There's a term limit of 6 years. We need term limits. Yeah, it's already in the Constitution. Term limit is 6 years. Stop reelecting them.
There you go.
There's your
Run for
term limit
office.
right in the freaking Constitution.
Yeah, right.
Ugh.
Oh,
The House of Representatives have how many voting members? 435. We elect a U.S. representative for how many years? Oh, look, there's another one of them term limits. 2
uh-oh.
years. Every 2 years, House of Representative has to be reelected. Quit reelecting them.
There you go.
Although I digress because I know that most all of these people are hand selected, picked, and in a very long time, our votes haven't counted.
Right. Oh, I know.
But anywho, got to teach how it's supposed to be. Name of your U.S. representative. Well, let's see. Who does a U.S. senator represent? All people of the state. Wait a minute. If they're a representative of the state,
It says
who
all
in the hell is the federal government? If they're all representatives of the states, they'll come from the state. The only
Right.
ones that really don't come from the state itself is the president, the vice president, I guess attorney general,
Well,
secretary of state.
they have to come from one of the states or one of the
Well,
territories.
yeah, but it's not. They're not elected by the state.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like here in Idaho, we elect our senators and our representatives in Congress.
Right.
The people of the territory elect them and then send them to D.C. So again, just exactly who is the federal government? Essentially, the president, the vice president, secretary of state, attorney general. That's about it for federal government.
Right.
And the military.
Actually, the attorney general is not even an elected official. He's appointed.
No, he's not. Neither is the VP. Vice president isn't elected either.
Well, he's a running mate with the president. So your vote at they're a double act. When you vote for one, you're voting for them both. So
Right.
Frickin' frack, as it were.
Right.
Beavis and Butthead, call it whatever you want. But the attorney general, right? That prosecutor, isn't that one of those multitudes of new offices to send hither swarms of officers to eat on our substance and all that shit? I'm just throwing that out there. I mean,
Yep.
you cast that out into the admiralty jurisdiction into the water and see what kind of a fish you catch. So just saying.
But I mean, part of the reason why I'm going over this is because this is the knowledge that we're all supposed to have as an American.
Right.
And, prima facie evidence, self-evident right here. Our elected officials represent the people. Imagine that. That's why they're public servants, and we have the right to instruct them.
Shannon Stevens says, Ed, and Eddie.
Ed, and Eddie.
That's the
Oh, jeez.
best.
Okay, why do some states have more representatives than other states? Okay, this is why we have the Electoral College. Because of the state's population. Because they have more people. Because some states have more people. Let me reiterate that. Because some states have more people. That's why.
There you go.
And to keep things fair so that we don't have, 3 states in the union here electing our president, deciding who our president's going to be, which our founders foresaw this. This goes right back to just how smart and intelligent our founders were by putting together the Electoral College to keep it fair.
Equal
and even then, it's so
representation.
freaking close.
Yeah. Equal representation under the law. Period.
Under the law. For every certain amount, I think it's 10,000 people. There's one supposed to be one. But see, they changed that. They haven't done the census and changed how many senators and representatives we have in each state for quite some time. And it needs to be done.
Sure.
To get some of the states that, like Idaho, doesn't have a whole lot of representatives.
Right. Well, your minimum should be 2.
Yeah, we got 2.
Yeah. Senators is 2.
We've grown since then.
Well, and again, the senators, there's 2 per state, right? That's why there's 100 senators. There's 50 states, right?
I mean, pardon me.
The House members, right?
Yes.
The power of the
House
purse,
of Representatives,
right? Those resolutions, which is where we should be, right?
Yes.
Maybe we need to take and expand a little bit on the House side, right? Because our population has grown, right? Here's the problem with that. You're going to get too many cooks in the kitchen. You're going to spoil the pot, right? So I get it. I see the conundrum. That's the districting problem.
Let's look at the stuff here under number 23. Name your U.S. representative. Answers will vary, obviously. But look what it says here. Residents of territories. Doesn't say residents of states.
Ruh-roh.
Oh, letting that one slip out, are they? That's right, because the state is the state of being, the body politic, the political subdivision is a state of being.
Which
the
has no standing.
Landmass. The state is essentially the Constitution.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So anyway, residents of territories with non-voting delegates or resident commissioners may provide the name of that delegate or commissioner. Also acceptable is any statement that the territory has no voting representatives in Congress.
Right.
Anywho, in what month do we vote? November. What is the name of the president? Okay, let's just skip over those because we know President Trump, Mike Pence. The president can no longer serve. Who becomes president? Vice president. Now, what are we getting to here about trying to remove Trump? Who replaces Trump if both Trump and the vice president are removed?
That would be the Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House. And who is the Speaker of the House right now?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
It should be no problem.
I think my head would explode if Pelosi takes the White House. Oh, God.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Jesus.
Drinks around at the bar.
Right.
And that would be one R.
Where's my bar card? I'm going drinking.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Just at the thought of that makes me want to go drinking.
But look, who is the commander-in-chief of the military? That would be the president.
Yeah.
Who signs bills to become laws? The president. So guess what? If Congress, right, if Congress were to go to try and pass a bill and send it over to the president, why aren't we doing a remonstrance to the president and telling the president to veto that bill? Do not sign that bill. You've got, and the way it's supposed to work, right? Because this is how our form of government works. The president or the governor, when we're talking, because this is our form of government, that particular position in government, that office, has the power to veto any bill and send it back down to be re-voted on if they decide to re-vote on it, with the exceptions, right? So if there's a bill that comes through and says this, this, and this, 1, 2, 3, and the president or the governor says, you know what, number 3 is not lawful, and sends it back down and says you can vote, now you can re-vote on 1 and 2 and pass it. That's how that works. So just so you all know, even the president and the governor don't necessarily have the power. They don't have the power to make law. That's the power of the Congress, whether it's state or federal. I know some people say, well, Congress is federal and legislature is state. No, it's still a Congress. It's a gaggle of monkeys. I mean, people, representatives. Same thing. But anywho, see, there it is. Who vetoes bills? President. What does the president's cabinet do? Advises the president. Imagine that. What are 2 cabinet level positions? Now, notice that these people are all under the president. Okay. These are supposed to be advisors. There's a secretary. They're all secretaries except for who? The attorney general and the vice president. So this is under the president. This is the president's cabinet. Look at that, Secretary of Transportation. What does the judicial branch do? Screw the people over all the time. Oh, wait, excuse me. Reviews laws, explains laws, resolves disputes, like, is that color of law? Is that shit made up law? Decide if a law goes against the Constitution. Notice that it doesn't say bark orders at the people.
Right.
Notice that it doesn't say make law. And essentially, it reviews, it explains it with supposed to have what's called a findings of facts and conclusions of the law to decide whether the law goes against the Constitution. Because that's the fundamental law in the Constitution that Congress has no authority to alter.
Ooh.
There it is. Kind of hidden in plain sight. But that's it. That's all that the judicial branch can do. They're not supposed to be barking orders at the people. Like, shut up, you can't say nothing. I'm putting a gag order on you. You don't have that power because it doesn't say that here, does it?
I don't see that anywhere in the Constitution.
It doesn't even, I mean, right here. This is what it takes to be an American, and those are 4 acceptable answers. The only 4 acceptable answers.
Right.
Or you fail.
There it is.
I didn't write this, right? And this is one of 19. It's been revised. So there's your answer right there. There's the limitation of the judicial branch. And they don't have the power to exercise powers that don't belong to them.
Right.
All you have the power to do is review the law and decide whether or not it goes against the Constitution. Is it constitutional or is it not? And this is what I've been saying is like, we need to go in with the remonstrance and ask for a declaratory judgment to declare this stuff unconstitutional, because that is what the judicial branch is there for. And it says so right there.
And again, depends on, it's why I said, do you want to fight or do you want to win? I want to win. I knew damn well that this whole one world government bullshit, this capital corporate dead entity state, Islamic state of being, was a dead, literally, no pun intended, was a dead deal when they fucked over Kavanaugh. I knew it at that moment. It was a done thing. So,
You know, it's sorry. You know what's funny about this here test here is every time that I show this thing, some people try to pick one like it's multiple choice. No, 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 no. These are all correct answers.
right,
It's not one or the other. It's not multiple choice. These are all. This is the study for the test,
right.
right? It's not multiple guess. But anywho, it's funny that some people that look at
Force a
this and
habit.
right, and it is because we look at this and we think, well, which one of these four is it?
Right,
Well, and again, um, these are the questions on the test, and these will be the acceptable answers.
right,
Probably, in my mind, one of these four will be there, and there'll be three other choices that make no frickin' sense to trip you up,
right,
which they don't want. I mean, technically speaking, I believe there's three versions of the test so that nobody knows exactly which one they're going to get.
right.
So, yeah, let's look at this one. Under our Constitution. Oh, wait. We got to go back up. What is the highest court in the United States? The Supreme Court. Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the federal government. What is one power of the federal government? Not print money. It's supposed to be coin money.
Right.
Because the Constitution says coin
Weights and measures.
and fixes the weights and measures.
Right.
Okay.
Scale of equity.
To declare war, to create an army, and to make treaties. That's pretty much it, isn't it? I mean, aside from interstate commerce and postal, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why they don't have more other things in here. I guess they don't want you to know. Or it's not required for you to know to pass the test. Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the states. What is one power of the states? Provide schooling and education. I would say provide public schooling and public education if you want to send your children to public school. Provide protection, police. Wait. I thought that was the military that's supposed to do that. Policy officers don't exist in our form of government.
Thank you.
If anything, they're supposed to be peace officers for breaches of the peace. That's why the judge is technically called a justice of the peace. Oh, but they don't want us to know that one either. And every single last judge is a magistrate. And magistrates are supposed to be amenable to the people. All right. Provide safety. Oh, from the fire department. Give a driver's license. Seeking permission to do a thing that would otherwise be illegal. Yeah, you do have to seek permission to be a driver, one who is for hire to operate a commercial motor vehicle on the streets and highways. Makes perfect sense to me, especially like some of them big rigs. 85, 90,000 pounds rolling down the road. We want to make sure that driver who's getting paid to drive knows how to operate that motor vehicle. But we do not need to seek permission to exercise the right of personal liberty, which is the right of power of locomotion. Choo-choo.
Vroom, choo-choo.
And we don't need to seek permission from our neighbor, again, back to being self-governed, to utilize to acquire, possess, and utilize our personal property, such as an automobile or a car, short for carriage. Approve zoning and land use. So that's some of the powers in the states, huh? Okay. What is the governor of your state now? What is the capital of your state? What are the two major political parties in the United States? Democratic and Republican, which we're not supposed to have parties. That's the whole beauty of the republic and the rule of law.
Right.
Is that we don't go by the rule of man, we go by the rule of law. So therefore, parties are actually completely irrelevant because they don't have the power to alter the fundamental law or the Constitution.
Well, and again, as the impeachment against the foreign emoluments we just went through, what did the court say? Oh yeah, those don't have any standing. So so much for your theory on political parties. Because you know, get rid of that off the test. That should read: we have a legislature comprised of a House of Representatives and a Senate, right?
I like this comment out here. Peter built a truck for a man to drive. I'm not racist or sexist. Built by Peter. I'll leave that one. Rights and responsibilities. There are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. Describe one of them. Okay, everybody over the age of 18. Doesn't matter if you're male or female, but you do have to be a member of the society, right? You got to register, be a registered elector. What is one responsibility this only for United States citizens? Serve on a jury and vote in a federal election. Name one right only for United States citizens. Vote in federal elections and run for federal office. What are 2 rights of everyone living in the United States? Man, I kind of covered that earlier, wasn't it?
Ish.
Oh, but look, the right to bear arms. It made it in there.
Oh well, I'll be damned.
2 rights of everyone living in the United States of America. The right to bear arms. And that right shall not be infringed. Look up the word infringe there, Congress, both state and federal. You don't have subject matter over our right to keep and bear arms. You're fired. What do we show, or what do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? To the United States of America, right?
Yep.
The flag. Nation.
To the republic for which it stands.
Right? To the republic for which it stands.
Thank you.
That's what we are supposed to pledge our allegiance to, is to the republic for which the flag stands for. Now, this is one of my all-time favorites out of this test. What is one promise you make when you become a United States citizen? Remember, all of these are one of those promises. These are all correct answers. And they're only asking for one of them. Clearly, there's more than one promise that people have to make when they want to become an American. The number 1 is give up loyalty to other countries.
That would be those foreign emoluments. Oh,
bingo. Number 2, defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America. Obey the laws of the United States. Serve in the U.S. military if needed. Serve, do important work for the nation. Serve the nation. Be loyal to the United States of America. this seems to be a really hard concept for certain people in Congress. And I don't know, a lot of people. Yes, all of them are the correct answer, right? Because those are all promises that everyone has to make to become an American. We're already supposed, this is what being an American patriot is all about, is your loyalty to the republic. That's what it means to be a patriot. Absolutely right, Top Cat. Freedom is not free. Okay? So, are you an American? Because in America, Christianity is the law of this nation. Not Islam, not anything else. In fact, that's what we were trying to get away from all throughout history. And boy, I still didn't share that video with you, Chris, but I'm doing just random research stuff, and I come across this video. Happens to be a Jesuit who's doing this seminar. And the one video, it's like an hour and 16 minutes or something. But boy, does he lay it out. The who did what, where, and when in history, and I believe clear back to 300 BC. Holy smoke, this guy. Wow. And I should be sharing that. Lays it all out about how Islam and the Jesuits, and he's a Jesuit, no less. He's basically exposing his whole religion, right? He's telling on him. And yeah, this is what we've been fighting against in history for a very long time, folks. And I don't hate to be the bearer of bad news here. This is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We've been fighting Islam for a very long time. That is the one world government that is through the UN, Agenda 21, now Agenda 2030. That is, in fact, what's trying to be implemented worldwide. Islam. That's that ideology, because religion is an ideology. Those morals and principles, those rule of law. So, anywho, pretty much, from there, this is all. I mean, that's the main one. I love number 53, right there. You cannot get any clearer, more simple than that. Those are the promises you have to make when you become or want to become an American. And as an American, you're already supposed to have these in your moral compass. But that's it. I mean, there's a total of 100. Oh, wait. There were 13 original states. New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Now, here's the thing. Before they were independent, sovereign states, all of those were colonies inside, except for 3, were inside the borders of the territory of Virginia, because Jamestown, Virginia was established in 1603 with the first charter of Virginia in 1606. So 9 out of those 13 were born out of Virginia. And when you read the first charter of Virginia from 1606, it gives the metes and bounds, the latitude and the longitude of what Virginia, the territorial jurisdiction of Virginia at the time. Okay. So technically speaking, this goes right back to the Virginia Plan. Yeah, because Virginia was the first. Oh, the Mayflower. Yeah, that was 1620. Apparently you didn't hear the 1603 Jamestown, Virginia. Virginia was established in 1603. So something to, there's some food for thought there, and that's, this is the reason why the Virginia Plan was there. This is the reason why the Virginia Declaration of Rights is a theoretical foundation of all government. This is the reason why the Virginia Declaration of Rights lays down the law of this nation as Christianity is the law of this nation. That is where we get our morals and principles from. You don't have to go to church. You don't even have to read the darn Bible. But you damn well better follow the commandments, right? Because those are those morals and principles of law, the rule of law. Or it's a crime. That's a crime. What happened at the Constitutional Convention? The Constitution was written. The Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution. Imagine that. When was the Constitution written? 1787. The Federalist Papers, oh, I love it, supported the passage of the U.S. Constitution right in the frickin' test. Right in the frickin' immigration test. The Federalist Papers supported the passage of the U.S. Constitution. And just to let you know I haven't looked for it for a while, but I do have a case where it says that the Federalist Papers can be used as evidence because they are essentially the support of the Constitution. They actually define what the Constitution means because James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and John Jay are the three that wrote the Federalist Papers. Now, John Jay, he actually didn't write much. Alexander Hamilton actually wrote quite a bit of the Federalist Papers. And James Madison, he's my all-time favorite. Mostly because I found out that Alexander Hamilton was our traitor. He was the came in under the president. Which one? Franklin, I believe. No. Help me out, Chris. Which one? Alexander Hamilton came in under president. Are you even there?
Yeah, I was here, but like a dumbass, I had my damn shit muted. Duh.
Was it
Over here?
Franklin?
Matter of
He
fact,
came in under Franklin, right?
I was doing that homework as you were asking the question. Hamilton. Whoops.
I think it was. It's got to have been.
Learn how to spell, stupid.
Anyway, so yeah, I found out that Alexander Hamilton was our traitor. He
So he died in 1804, so would have been.
Oh, Washington. Pardon me. Wasn't it? He did.
No,
Yeah,
Washington.
he came in under Washington.
Washington was our first president, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, under the Constitution. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was. It was Washington, and he was supposedly a bastard child, and so Washington took him in under his wing, and he became Washington's advisor. Alexander Hamilton is also the one that pushed for the International Bank.
Yeah, he was one of those banksters.
Yep. He was a plant.
Yeah.
So who is the father of our country? George Washington? Well, he gave birth, huh? Okay.
Yeah, right.
Who was the first president? George Washington. What territory did the United States buy from France in 1803? The Louisiana Territory. That would be the Louisiana Purchase. Okay. So, here we go. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1800s. The War of 1812. What was the War of 1812 really about? How many people actually know the truth behind the War of 1812? Anybody have a good idea of what was going on at that particular time? Oh, well, they They went over there and burnt some building, so they came over here and burnt ours. Right. I'll give you a hint. The original Article the 13th, which kicked the bar out of our frickin' country, out of our nation. It was started, debates were talked, as far as my research has gone, as early as 1807. 1809 is when they actually started debating it, and was voted on through Congress. Now, this is the argument that I have with several people. How many states were present, representatives of the states, how many states were in the Union in that particular convention? Because it was an Article 5 convention. See, this again goes back to prima facie evidence of how Congress is supposed to make law.
Right.
Which is why the First Amendment specifically states Congress shall make no law. The only way to make law in our republic is through an Article 5 convention. If that's not true, then why in the hell didn't they just make a congressional act that said if you take a title of nobility such as Esquire, you cease to be a citizen of the United States, when the Constitution already says no titles of nobility? And yes, it was ratified in 1819, final ratification. But see, you got to read history and understand when these new states, they were trying to make these new states to try and change the amount of, because you got to have 3/4. Or is it 2/3 to ratify? Anywho, so that's the thing, is like the War of 1812 broke out because they were ratifying the original Article the 13th. That's why we had the War of 1812. And the White House is now painted white because if it was left in the original stone, it would show the char marks, wouldn't it? From them going in there. And again, this is where I go, technically speaking, we actually lost that war. But then there's the Mexican-American War, the Civil War, and the Spanish-American War. And those were all in the 1800s there. 1861 through 1865 was the Civil War, and I can't quite remember the other two, the Mexican-American War or the Spanish-American War. Name the U.S. war between the North and the South, the Civil War, the war between the states. Now, let me cue you, some of you people in, cue you in, I guess. 1845, Congress extended admiralty jurisdiction onto the land by congressional act. I believe that is the part of the reason why the Civil War broke out. It was not because of slavery or trying to abolish slavery, because I can show you in history where they were trying to abolish slavery from the inception of the creation of our nation.
Right.
Name one problem that led to the Civil War. Slavery. Oh, wait, they got one part in there. States' rights. That's exactly it right there. What they did when they, in 1845, by extending admiralty jurisdiction onto the land, is that stuff's supposed to be out on the sea.
Right. Those shipping lanes.
Bingo. That would be the states' rights that we're talking about. The individual sovereign states' rights, sovereignty, the people. The people are sovereign.
Yeah.
The state is a state of being, remember? It's also supposed to be government, which would all be a figment of the imagination. So a figment of the imagination, technically speaking, cannot be sovereign.
Right.
Only the people can be sovereign. And my Idaho Code and the Mason's Manual Legislative Procedure even says it. The people of the state of Idaho, in creating the instruments of of government, right, do not yield their sovereignty to the agency so created. The people are sovereign, right, in my own Idaho Code. Title 74, ethics in government. Oh my gosh, we actually have ethics in government.
There's an oxymoron.
Section 201. So, Title 74, Section 201 of the Idaho Code says the people of the state of Idaho, in creating the instruments of government that serve them, do not yield their sovereignty to the agency so created. Kind of defeats that whole sovereign citizen crap, don't it?
Oh, here we go. Killing
And I
more,
used it.
right?
So, what was one? Oh, wrong mouse. No wonder. Name one problem. Name one important thing that Abraham Lincoln did. Freed the slaves. Emancipation Proclamation. Okay. Saved or preserved the Union. Led the United States during the Civil War. Now, this is the particular reason why I say, because this is when essentially when our government was hijacked. Abraham Lincoln is the last de jure lawfully elected president since Trump.
Yeah.
Trump is the first de jure president that has lawfully been elected by the people. All presidents since Lincoln have all been appointed.
Right, by those foreign emoluments.
Yeah, screw the 14th Amendment. That's a scheme, scam, and a fraud. It actually
Shit
enslaved
made up.
everyone.
Shit made up.
So, there you have it. What did Susan B. Anthony do? Oh, wait. What did the Emancipation Proclamation do? Freed slaves in the what? Confederacy?
That would
What?
be those Articles of Confederation.
Did we still have a Confederacy even after the Constitution?
Ooh, well then.
Well, what? Wait, this is on the immigration test.
Uh-huh.
Freed slaves in the Confederate states. Freed slaves in the most southern states. Wait a minute. Wait. I thought the Constitution abolished the Articles of Confederation. But yet, here it is. Lincoln, in what? Would be around, what, 1865 to 1871-ish? When was the Emancipation Proclamation?
Don't know. Don't have my history up right here in front of me. You're going to run through this shit. You should have it.
Well, somebody probably knows. But I know it's between 1865 and 1871 is my ultimate guess.
January 1, 1863.
Wait a minute.
That's what it
So
says.
then what was the Civil War about? If he freed the slaves, why are we fighting to keep us enslaved?
Hey,
see, this is the ultimate question I ask is, wait a minute. And here's the other thing is most of the states there had a lot of slaves. Why would the slaves fight to keep themselves enslaved?
right. Just doesn't make any sense.
No, whoops, wrong mouse. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1900s. World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, and Persian Gulf War. Huh. Yeah, I was in the Marine Corps for that one. But let's see, who was the president?
Vietnam was not a
World
war. It was a police action, remember?
Well, it was kind of a joke.
Hence my reference to the police action.
Right. Let's see. Who was president during the Great Depression? Roosevelt.
Run by the fucking CIA.
Who did we fight in World War II? Japan, Germany, and Italy. False. The banksters, the Rothschilds, the Soros. Oops, did I just put that out there?
Oh shit! There we go again.
Well, I mean, they funded both sides of the war.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I don't know. During the Cold War, what was the main concern of the United States? Communism? No. Yes.
Ish.
One world government.
Well,
What movement tried to end racial discrimination? The Civil Rights Movement. Okay.
I thought that was for women voters.
I thought it was for we already had natural rights and civil rights.
Well, thank
Right in
you.
the
but-
Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal.
Well, I mean, talk to anybody who was alive at that time, and it was
Mhm.
one of the most, especially the women that I talked to. They, oh no, it was about the women's right to vote. Like, we already had that.
Right.
They're like,
That's pretty much what it was about. Was the women's right to vote.
uh-huh.
Now, Martin Luther King, he, in my mind, was a martyr. So he did fight for basic civil rights because we were doing segregation back then. Blacks couldn't go on the same bus as whites. They couldn't use the same bathroom. They couldn't, they couldn't intermingle.
Oh, that's why I said it was brutal.
Oh, it was. It was
Very
bad.
archaic, I mean,
Yeah.
definitely not civilized as far as I'm concerned.
And that's the problem I have is like, wait a minute, the Declaration of Independence says that all men are created equal.
Right.
And talk about skin color.
Yeah.
That's a man there. I don't care if his skin's black or not. He's still a man. Man
Or-
as in mankind, not
Yeah.
male or female.
Right.
I'd have had a hell of a time living back then. I'd have probably been marching with the blacks.
Right. That'd have been, yeah, you know me. I'd have been, get your
No.
shit made up the heck out of here.
Oh boy, this has got to be an updated one. What major event happened on September 11th, 2001 in the United States? Terrorists attacked the United States. Got to watch that video. The guy actually names the man that was behind the 9/11 attack.
Right.
And then Field McConnell might have some information on that. Name one American Indian tribe in the United States. Lots of them.
Lots of them.
Lots of them.
I don't remember a tribe named lots of them.
A whole lot of nothing. All right. Name one of the two longest rivers. Would that be the Nile?
Right.
Oh, wait. In the United States. Missouri and Mississippi. What ocean is on the west coast of the United States? That would be is that the Pacific Ocean? and the East Coast has the Atlantic? Huh. See, this is another part that I love right here when we get into territorial jurisdiction of the United States. Name one U.S. territory. Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Northern Mariana Islands, and Guam. I don't see Washington, Oregon, Idaho, right?
Exactly.
In fact, I don't even see Washington, D.C. in there.
Nope.
So, the federal government clearly does not have territorial jurisdiction except for over those 5 places right there.
That's right.
So what's the federal government doing in our states?
Well, and again, its powers are to protect us from all things foreign, right?
Right.
So it's not about jurisdiction as much as it is to keep out the foreign invasion. And
No, I'm talking
build
about
the damn wall. Oh,
I'm talking about like, oh, well, federal law this and federal law that. Okay. Yeah, it's only applicable in those territories. And unless you're acting in interstate and foreign commerce, it doesn't apply. because that's that contract you would have to be entered into to bind you to those terms and conditions of the contract or the law.
Right. So here's what I want to know. When you bring up an interesting point, state government, right, is Republican in character and format.
Mm-hmm.
The process is you redress your grievances through the legislature, right? That's where you state your claim, right? You, if you cannot resolve, right, find resolution in your differences, right, you can go to the judicial branch, right? So now, how are there federal courts in every state when you have to petition through Washington to even walk into the federal court, right? As one of the people. So who the fuck is this foreign emolument jackwagon walking in and out of the federal court building like he owns the damn place?
Right.
Right? Can somebody explain that to me, please? Just saying.
Bueller.
Fry.
Oh, okay. Why does the flag have 13 stripes? Because there were 13 original colonies.
Uh-huh.
Because the stripes represent the original colonies. Why does the flag have 50 stars? Because there is one star for each state. Because each star represents the states, because there are 50 states. What is the name of the national anthem? The Star Spangled Banner. When do we celebrate Independence Day? That would be July 4th.
I would say so.
Because the Lee's resolution was actually ratified on July 2nd.
Yep.
The Declaration of Independence was not ratified until August 8th. Uh-oh. John Hancock was the first man who signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th. But it still had to be signed and ratified. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Name 2 national U.S. holidays. New Year's, Martin Luther King, President's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. It's called Christmas. Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays.
Right.
Christmas is our national holiday.
So back the truck
That's
up.
the law.
Back the truck up here just a second.
What, to Thanksgiving?
Independence. Yeah, beep, beep, beep to Independence Day. So if the Declaration of Independence is not law, why are persons in position of emolument getting paid a benefit, right? An emolumentum benefit, day off, celebrating, commemorating July 4th, if the Declaration is not law? Just this is where you cue the Jeopardy music, right?
Right? Oh.
Just had to throw that out there. Just, that's just me being me.
Yep. Okay, so that concludes that. With this mouse over here, I can end that. And there we have
it. Your video, when you screen share like that, it screws up my connection. So I shut my camera off, which helps.
Oh. Even on that one, it screws it up?
I don't know what it is.
Either computer, it screws it all up.
Yeah. I think it's in Zoom. It's not my computers. It's in Zoom.
Okay. Okay. All right, folks. If you want to do your little...
Oh, I even pulled that up for us. So go ahead and
All right. If you enjoy our shows here and want to help support what we're doing, I would greatly appreciate. We would greatly appreciate it. My mailing address there at the office is 6477 West Fairview Avenue, Suite C, as in Charlie, Boise, Idaho 83705. You can send postal money orders, cashier's checks, regular money orders, cash wrapped in aluminum foil. Books. I actually got a book the other day. Thank you. Yeah, if you want to send me books, that's great too. Or shirts like this one here. It's Make America Constitutional Again. I love it. Thank you. But if you would like to donate electronically or anything like that, you can do that through PayPal, Kirk_Pendergrass@hotmail.com, or the Cash App. That would be the $50 capital K, capital PEN 71. That's my handle on Cash App. For Chris,
Maybe. There we are.
there's his 16062 Southwest 34 Court Road. I assume you live on Court Road.
Pun intended.
Right. Ocala, Florida, 34473. His PayPal is eclausllc@gmail.com. So the same thing for us, or for both of us, is, supporting us in this endeavor that we both have taken up, and many different projects we now have going on in several different states. And California happens to be stepping up. There's a couple of gentlemen out of California, which I may be going down and visiting them.
Imagine that.
As well as somebody else to California.
Right.
Go rip some stuff up down there. Maybe I'll get some better people to work with. But California is coming up on the rise. It's being incorporated into the law of California, the state of California, for a franchise of E-Clause. Paperwork's been done, right?
It's already there. It's paid for. Good news is we know both New York and California, they got their paperwork because they deposited their check. So,
right.
That's one of the 7 danger signs.
It's processed.
Yeah. The paperwork is in progress because they're they cash the check. That means they're interested. So,
right.
So
as you can see, there are several. We have people in several different states now that they're taking up the charge and doing something. They're doing remonstrances. They're trying to help other people to get educated about emoluments. I mean, a lot of people, well, that's RICO. Well, let me tell you something about RICO. It's super hard to prove. You have to prove that you have to have the evidence that they actually sat down at a round table discussion and planned this. Good luck. That's the hurdle of RICO.
Right.
For organized corruption. Emolument, we always look for something to try and frickin' bust them on. Well, in history of law of our nation called America, nobody's even addressed the emoluments clause. Thank you, Christopher Hallett.
You're
so now
welcome.
We're using the emoluments clause to start busting these people for emoluments violations and kick the door in for investigations for any other crimes that may be there. So,
you want to know what a remonstrance is? There it is. There's the definition.
A presentation of reasons for opposition or grievance. A formal, which would be written, document stating reasons for opposition or grievance. A formal complaint or protest against governmental policy, actions, or officials. That is what a remonstrance is about. Bad actors in government who trespass the law, whether it's the legislature making bad policy, whether it's the actions or conduct of certain officials, or the officials themselves.
Right. So wasn't that word protest in the duties of my office? I think I remember reading that tonight.
Right. So it's got
So
a protest is a formal written document.
right. So
It's
technically
not
speaking,
standing on the street corner holding a sign.
so
That's called
technically,
picketing.
right. So
So you
technically
all know
speaking,
that's that
I
word
can,
salad.
yeah, I can articulate a duty to do this. That's problematic for some pretty bad actors, don't you think?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, you know, it is what it is. I read it right out of the dictionary. So,
And you know, it's not like it's not in the First Amendment in Article 1, Section 10 of the Idaho Constitution. You know, I mean, it's what it says to petition the legislature with the redress of grievances.
that's right.
That's the letter of the law, the right as the law.
Mm-hmm.
If you're
Yeah.
not petitioning the legislature with the redress of grievances and remonstrating about bad policy or bad actors in government, you're not following due process of law.
Yeah. You're not stating your claim.
Well,
Why
that,
not?
that's it. Again, we don't. Do you want to fight or do you want to win? We've
There you go.
all been taught wrong. We've all been taught we fight in the judicial branch because, like, even the immigration test. Oh, what is one of the things the judicial branch does? Oh, settles disputes. Yeah, disputes of whether that's constitutional or not.
Oh, that's one. But there's
The
also
dispute of whether or not we've got bad policy, bad actors in government is a remonstrance, and that's filed in the legislature.
Mhm. So
That's how
that's
our
the process.
Republican form of government works.
There you
That's
go.
how our right dictates due process of law from the law of the land.
So again, now
So,
remember through remonstrance, right? Before we go here, real quick, I just want to clarify that, right? So page 353 of the Mason's Manual, right? Section 517, number 1. This is the state process. No motion or measure is in order that conflicts with the Constitution of a state or the U.S. Constitution or with treaties of the United States. And if such a motion or measure be adopted, even by unanimous vote, it is null and void ab initio, right? That's the reason we seek resolution against shit made up.
yep.
That's the process. So knowing
Oh,
that they
wait.
need it, even if they did it by unanimous vote, it's still void. But
Page
if you don't go
62.
in there,
Go back. Page 62. Right.
sorry.
Page 62, section 73, number 1. The people are vested with sovereign authority
There it is.
expressed by their representatives serving in a legislature. Thus, legislative power is absolute and unlimited except as restrained by Constitution. That's kind of backwards.
Well, hey,
Their power is limited by the Constitution, and they can only exercise powers that are properly delegated.
there you go.
But see, that's the scheme, scam, and the fraud that's come through. Is they seem to think that, well, the Constitution doesn't say that we can't do that. Well, it doesn't
Wanna
say
bet?
that you can either.
There you go. So, and that would be those, right? You've heard us say this once or twice, right?
Hmm.
Constitutional provisions
Constitutional
stand on a
provisions
higher
stand on
plane
a
than
higher
statute.
plane than statutes and are mandatory.
Right? So, and if Congress
yeah.
or a state legislature violates a constitutional requirement, the courts will declare its enactment void.
Imagine that. Isn't that what I just said and what we just read on
That's
the
what I said.
immigration test? What was
Well,
one of the things that the judicial branch does? Declares
right,
it unconstitutional.
right. So if you want this Sharia bullshit declared void, go remonstrate against it and say, get that bullshit out of here.
Yep.
Right?
All right. Much love, everyone. We're going to shut this down for the night. And I'm probably like done. And I'm sure Chris probably is. But we'll leave
be up.
Zoom open for any of you all that want to hang out in there in your own after show, basically. Because
Yeah, I got to be up
done.
dark early tomorrow.
Chris and I were actually on the phone till what 12:30 last night my time, 2:30 your time.
Right. So, and I got to be
So
back up again, no dark early again tomorrow morning because I got a bunch of crap I got to get done. So,
yep.
such is life, getting ready for Friday so I can have everything I need to get through my weekend.
Are you the fry cook on Friday?
Huh?
Are you the fry cook on Friday?
Yeah, right.
You know, fry them.
Me.
Right.
You hook them and I'll clean them and fry them. How about that?
Acme delivery.
Right. Me.
All right. So much love to everybody, and we'll have that open in Zoom here shortly. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. The likes, the follows, the shares on Facebook, the subscriptions, and the
YouTube.
thumbs up on the YouTuber.
Patreon is coming up, and also too, I just want you guys to. I think I may have that.
I was going to say that Mason's Manual Legislative Procedure, the 2010 edition, is now in PDF available.
Yes, I have, and I've even uploaded it.
Yes.
To, I think it's this one right here. Should be this one right here. This is what I get for thinking.
It's on the Patreon.
Yeah, it's on the Patreon site, so I'm going to share that real fast so everybody knows what that looks like when they log in. And that's what you'll see when you log into Patreon. And Mason's Manual is right there. It's the first thing you're going to see. I still have to upload a bunch of files in here and some other stuff. I've got some short videos that I've been working on. I'm going to try to get those in there for you guys. Just kind of short, 3 to 5 minute, little sections on, reviews on ordering an investigation, a short review on how to call them into assembly, right? Exercise your right of assembly. You see what I'm saying? Because those sections are real short, right? But there's a proper way to do it, okay? And there's some stuff you're gonna need to know, right? Because you're gonna act through your representative, or so you want to send them a cover letter, and then an actual letter with the body of the text, right? If you want to create a special select committee, there's a process for that. So I'm going down through and I'm explaining how to do all this, and I've written some examples. So as soon as I get those things, uploaded here, I'm going to start sticking them on the Patreon site. So stay heads up for that. And they'll also be uploaded to my YouTube channel. So you'll be able to check it out either way. But if you want to donate to the project and you're not on Facebook, you can go to Patreon. So thanks for everybody who's been helping us with the project. The thing's been just like exploding massively. So I got hearsay evidence today that I could possibly have hit my 20th state of where.
Would that be that reasonable hearsay evidence?
Exactly. So still waiting on confirmation. Usually the confirmation is some idiot bar member files a bar complaint with the state bar.
Right.
So I have 19 of those in my collection, which I can
make sure you save those as souvenirs.
Oh yeah, you bet your ass. I'm gonna have a whole wall. I'm saving. I want one from each state.
The fight that we've had to go through to get to where we're going to be where we're going to go, but where we've gone so far. So
yep, I'm gonna set up a wall. Call it the wall of bar shame, and for every fucking bar member complaint, I'm gonna have at least one from every state up there. I'm gonna call it the wall of bar shame.
But the statute says unauthorized practice or unlicensed practice of law. Oh shit, they're all busted because nobody has a license to practice law because there isn't one.
But I have a business license to do business and commerce, and I have a right to work.
Yeah, but it's not a license to practice law because there isn't one that exists.
Hang on a second. What does this say on the back of my shirt?
Loss prevention, to prevent the loss.
So not to put too fine a point on that. So, again, reading means reading here.
It does.
So, what is it that I'm practicing? It's loss prevention. What's the loss? Preventing the loss of the republic. So,
the loss of our rights,
ding, ding, ding,
the
ding,
loss
ding, ding.
of our value. Anywho, much love,
Ring
everybody,
that Liberty
and we will
Bell.
see you Friday night.
Friday night fun night, ladies and gentlemen.